i3 and i4, and we really need to pay attention to this technology. As we mentioned, advantages is a smaller size and weight, because Dmitriy Duyunov's motors could fit into the same size and have same weight as the older motors with energy efficiency class I1 and I2. They have saving capacity up to 30% because they don't use magnets, which I'll talk about later, and they also have lower cost of production, exactly because of this factor, because they don't use the permanent magnets, they just use copper and electric steel. It's easy to produce domestically in any country. You can take it to your country from where you're watching this, and you don't need to import any materials from abroad, and you can be sustainable in your own domestic market with this technology, Slavyanka technology, combined winding Slavyanka technology. More than 20 patents have been obtained already with for the Slavyanka technology by Dmitriy Duyunov and his team, and these actually patents are available at the website of Intellectual Property Register of Russian Federation. You can find in your back office all the links and all the links to this registry, and you can double check this information. So there has been large scientific work already, even before the project started out in 2017. It means these patents are based and are valid both in Russia and abroad. As soon as the company will start using the motors, will start to be used in also other countries. And we already have the partners working in other countries, which I will talk about also later. This technology, you can imagine, if you haven't researched yet on our back office at SOLARGROUP.pro, it has already been tested by 3 universities, 2 universities in Europe. It's Düsseldorf University in Germany, Bologna University in Italy, also Belgrade University in Russia, and 4th university is University of Bangkok in Thailand, with the help of our partner company ASPP Weihai Technology in Weihai in China, Mr. Viktor Arestov. It means that all this research has been done and are conducted independently by these universities, and has proved the excellence of these motors, of the Slavyanka technology motors. So we not only have the prototypes, not only have the patents, but also have the proven scientific research by these independent universities. So you can double check also this information. Let me see the chat for 1 minute. The license, okay. We'll talk about this later. Operating models of the vehicles. Actually, we have the several prototypes already tested, already used by the company and implemented by the partners of the company, such as locomotives, such as first electric Russian electric car Zeta, such as the trolley bus in Ukraine, and of course the hub motor used in electric bicycles, already applied by our partners in China, SPP company and East Gem company with brand Denzer. And we have many applications already, such as wheelchair application, hub motor in wheelchairs and so on. Hub motor is has become really popular also because it's the first hub motor in the world that don't use permanent magnets. Otherwise, all the BLDC type motors imported from China currently, they all use permanent magnets. And it means that exactly as it's written here, that the first in the world induction hub motor that, unlike BLDC hub motors presented in the market today, has no permanent magnets. Actually, this is really breakthrough. That's why it's has become really a hit in the market. And right now we are concentrated not on hub motors, but on the development of the electric motors and other type of electric motors. But for some partners who would like to develop further this technology, who really want to focus on bikes or scooters or vehicles using the hub motors, of course, you can contact SOVELMASH company and find out how you can maybe obtain license from them, or you can collaborate with them to get these hub motors produced and to have them distributed in your country. Actually, it has really important benefits such as power, such as reliability, travel distance, and more simpler design, and of course the price, which is not the last point. And I can share also now the videos of 8 minutes. Okay, I can share the link later. So we can compare the types of hub motors here. That first is hub motors with the Slavyanka technology. It has no decelerating force with the power switched off. So it means it's more easy to use pedals. It has a higher efficiency recuperation. And with just permanent BLDC magnets, you have impeded recuperation. So we have benefits and advantages here in the Slavyanka winding technology, and you have some downsides in the BLDC motors. Also, you have the advantages is mentioned here for performance features, for reliability, for availability, such as low cost, such as easily to be produced, ease of production, such as availability of resources, because again, we don't need to import any permanent magnets, and permanent magnets are mostly widely spread in China, and China imposes export limitations to export the permanent magnets or raw materials to make permanent magnets outside of China. So really, if you want to develop your own domestic production, the using of Slavyanka technology electric motors is much more preferable than BLDC type motor with permanent magnets. You can see here more. You can pause this video later and just research more in depth about each of the factors here. As is mentioned, that we have performance features include maintaining the torque at any revolutions. We have better capacity in terms of throughout all the RPMs, unlike the normal electric motors that have more torque or more capacity at high RPMs compared to low when you just started. Here, basically the bike, as soon as you accelerate, basically you really go fast, and you don't have any impedance there, have any pause before acceleration. So we have really a lot of advantages of this motor. It's enough just to test it once, and then you understand it completely, because we can speak about it very long time, but as they say in Russia, it's better one time to see than 100 times to hear it or to read about it. Developed prototypes of hub motors include the hub motor for electric bicycle, 10 and 20 kilowatt systems. Also, we have hub motor for electric scooter of 27 kilowatt, hub motor for electric cars with 18 kilowatt power for each wheel, and hub motor for a wheelchair for medical applications for electric attachment. Also, the hub motors, Slavyanka electric motors have been tested and implemented in Sweden, in Twizy car of Renault, and there has been also video in YouTube with exhibition in Monaco, and also Renault Kangoo car with 4x4 chassis with also Slavyanka-based electric motor available online. Also, it has been tested in a trolleybus with a Slavyanka electric motor in Ukraine, which has become more dynamic and more cost-effective, as well as some other applications include locomotive era with Slavyanka-based electric motor. This mining electric locomotive has become twice more powerful than before using another electric motor before modernization. Also, you can tell, okay, it's fine, but whether can we buy really an electric motor with Slavyanka-based technology? And the answer is yes. It's now readily available from our partner company called SPP Weihai Technology in China. Thanks to Mr. Viktor Aristov, who is living in Weihai in Shandong province in China. You can easily find his information about this company online with as-pp.asia website. These four electric motors, the 90S, 100S, 100SL, and 112SL, are already being produced and largely can be implemented in bikes, implemented in lightweight electric cars. It means you can approach Mr. Viktor Aristov and ask him, how can I buy it? How can I buy, let's say, a batch of this motor? So just one motor, he can help you. He can get in touch with you and send you the necessary motor. So it's an independent company. I repeat, it's ASPP Weihai Technology based in China. They have license with ASPP company in Russia, and they are producing, therefore, the electric motors already applicable. And already some of their motors are used in Thailand, used in South Korea. They are implementing the contract for South Korean customer right now. Also, they used in India. The local dealer there called AWEV Solutions Company is already working hard to get to obtain the license from the Indian agency in order to make modernization of or make a retrofit service to provide the service to modernize the vehicles with diesel or petrol-based engines into electric vehicles, fully EV vehicles. This is a great experience. And also one of the companies in Russia called Steen Limited, headed by Mr. Andrei Lobov. He has been also one of the guests on our webinars as well. And he shared the news that he has prepared already electric sleigh, motorized dog, and some other amazing products which can be found already in the Russian market. And you can even order it in your country if you want to see and want to compare it with the normal electric motors. It will be a great thing, I think, to do. Molniy is another company, is a brand of presented in Russian market. They already introduced and shared their Pikman and their Rush bike in Moscow conference last year in September with DA90S and DA100S motors, which is fully electric vehicles and electric bikes doing just fine, would have a high and great characteristics. And you can also get in touch with all of these dealers, all of these companies. As I've mentioned, producer is ASPP company, ASPP Technology in Weihai in China. Also, you can pause later this video and you just can get in touch with these companies using the phone numbers, using the website address. You can easily find them on internet. Companies Steen, S-T-N-I-N, in Russia, and Molniy Electric Motors in Russia. These are our current dealers, as well as collaborating company is AWEV in India with Mr. John William. John William, by the way, he will be the guest on tomorrow's webinar for our friends and dear partners from India. So hello everyone from India. Tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, at 9 p.m. they will hold their own webinar. Will be also with Mr. John William as the guest speaker. With his company, he will explain again what are the current developments of this technology in Indian market. So talking about the investment part right now, we are into stage number 14 right now out of 20 stages. This process, the crowd investing process, started out in 2017 and has been broken down into 3 years, into 20 stages. And we have set a target as $50 million to be financed, to be obtained from private investors and from private individuals in order to finance fully this project, including the construction of the development bureau, of the engineering bureau in Zelenograd, which I will discuss later. It's will be based on the land plot, actually right now rented out from the authorities of Free Economic Area Technopolis, Moscow, just outside of Moscow. And there have been a lot of talks and negotiations before that. And right now we have, SOVELMASH have successfully obtained the status of residentship in this free economic area. And actually this crowdfunding, equity crowdfunding, or actually crowd investing project, what is the details? If you have never heard of it, I will discuss briefly. It means that every investor becomes the co-owner of the future enterprise, of the future business operations, and get its investment shares in this enterprise, which will be in exchange to the shares of the future engineering enterprise, in a couple of years. It's planned that it will be could be in 2022, could be 2023. We'll see. All depends on market conditions. All depends on the actually financial indicators of the company and so on. And such investor will be able to sell the shares, either sell their shares at the stock exchange at a higher price, because as soon as the company will become joint stock company, all its shares will enter some stock exchange, will be connected with some stock exchange, and you will be able, via the broker, deal with your securities, either sell it, transfer it to your family and friend, or someone third party, or get dividends from the company's profits in the future. And we can talk about later about the plans, about the timing. So the goal of attracting investment, as you can see in this 3D rendering picture, the construction of SOVELMASH Engineering Center, which will take care exactly of the developing of the electric motors applied in various fields. It could be applied, as we've already covered, in industry, in military applications, in electric vehicles, in factory applications, everywhere. Even your phone has a small electric motor vibrating. All our household equipment, for example, air conditioner, our coffee making machine, or anything else, a lot of really equipment, they have electric motors inside. So really the market is huge. Even to pump the heat, the hot water into your home, it still needs some electric motors in place in order to do that. So you can see the market is really huge, and the investments is being exactly attracted for this reason, to construct the engineering center. And this center, as many of you ask, whether we'll produce the motors. The answer is, for the first stage, for the step 1, we'll just take care, and the Duyunov's Motors and company, or SOVELMASH company as the Russian legal entity, will take care of just developing, of just rendering services of development of the electric motor to its customers. It means it will not be a factory, it will not be a production house, it will not be a factory to produce the electric motors, but at least at the first stage, it will be the company which will take care of development of electric motors for their customers. And one of the contracts just to develop the electric motor can have the value of $50 million US. So just you can just imagine that with just 1-2 such contracts, we'll have covered already all the investments attracted, all the costs to attract investments into the company at the first place. Mechanism, it's the first is you can sell the company's shares at a much right now. Actually, sorry, what are the mechanisms to attract investments? First, the companies are sold at a much lower price. The company's shares are sold at much lower price than their nominal value. Therefore, right now, with the discount, you can really buy the piece of the future company with a greater discount. So today you can purchase using the price which is 100 times cheaper than the nominal price, which is planned to be at a later stage. And secondly, the shares can become more expensive with every stage of raising the funds. In totally, as we've mentioned, there are 20 stages. Right now, we're in stage number 14. So if you bought the shares in the stage 1, stage 2, 3, 4, etc., you paid much lower price because the discount was much bigger, much larger. Right now, we're in stage 14. The discount is lower. So it means with each stage, with each step of the investment project, the price increases. The discount decreases subsequently, and after the completion of all these 20 stages, the financing of the project will be completed, and the price, as the company anticipates, it's planned to be closer to nominal value of $1, or we need to just wait and see what will be the price per share in the future SOLARMASH enterprise. So this is what concerns the mechanism of attracting investments. I hope you understand this process. You understand if not, please give me your feedback via the chat if it's understood. As if it's presented here in the slide. So stage discount go the closer we are to stage 20, the less the discount there is. It means the price of share increases with each stage. And most profitable moment for purchasing shares is now, we can say it like that, because right now we're in stage 14, which is here, and we still have 6 stages to go before the completion of the project. And so each couple of months, as you see from back office, the company announces the passage to the next stage, investment stage. It can be connected with some significant events. For example, on 15th of July, the company shared the great news that we've had the work started out to prepare the construction, to prepare the construction camp to construct the engineering center. And in the future can be events like that, or it can be some significant stages. When it's over, then the company will go to the next stage of investing, next investment stage. Packages of shares at stage 13, which is already outdated. In our chart, you can see already the prices of the shares at the stage 14. So you can not pay so much attention to this slide, but you can ask in chats and you'll be sent new link with the stage 14th prices, actual prices. But just to have, to discuss the logic, how the price is calculated is fine. So for example, there are packages of $500, $750, $1,000, and so on. And any package can be purchased with just one installment, so just one go or one payment, or it can be broken down to installments. For example, you can pay in 10 months, so you can each month pay 1/10 of the investment package. So if it's a package of $500, subsequently you need to pay $50 per month. And the good thing is that in this company, in this investment company, you don't need, even if something happens financially or you lose income, your package will not be blocked, your package will not be eliminated, but you'll be the same owner of the package with just number of shares which you already have bought with all the payments you've made. For example, you've paid 3-4 months and then you stopped paying. So the number of shares which you already bought always be in your ownership. So it means you don't need to worry if you stop paying, what will happen, how you can reactivate. Always you just need to talk and to approach the support team in English or in your language, and they will be able to help you. You can, of course, write at support.en@solargroup.pro. You can write them via online chat at the right bottom page of the back office. You can use our WhatsApp and the Telegram chats dedicated to the Duyunov's Motors support, and they will be able to help you. And if there is any delay, please immediately contact your national partner in your country, and he or she will help you through to get the answer fast, and you will be satisfied with the outcome of your inquiry. So don't wait if you see that your question is not resolved in 1-2 days. Contact immediately your sponsor, your national partner, your representative in your area, in your city or in your country, and he or she will be able to help you. And support also is acting quite fast. They're trying to help. They give you a ticket number, and then you can follow up on this ticket and see if it has been resolved or not. So talking about the purpose of investing, as we've mentioned, there are 2 ways. First, you can sell your share at a higher price at a later stage. Once the company has proven its profitability, after the end of financing, you'll be able to sell your share. Also, all the share of Solar Group will be transformed or will be actually exchanged to SOVELMASH shares. And after this process, you can sell your share at a higher price. And once the company will introduce also internal exchange, which will need just to be patient and wait for the announcement from the company, we'll be able to sell our existing shares to other partners or to the company itself. It depends on the plans of the company, if they will want to buy all of your shares or just partially we will see. The second option, of course, is to get dividends. As we mentioned that as the company Solar Group has the 49.5 shareholding in SOVELMASH company, it means that half of all the profits which will be generated by the SOVELMASH company will be distributed among the share owners of the SOVELMASH company in the future. I hope it's all clear. Let me know your feedback also in chat. Regarding the number of shares, thanks for the question, Mr. Dinesh Murugan. Actually, it has not been distributed. Any information has not been shared with investors or partners to this moment. So we'll just need to wait till the official announcement. It might be closer to the stage 20, when all the stages will be completed, or at least when the sale of shares will be stopped. Then at this stage, the company can announce that we sold this or that number of shares. Right now, I don't have this information, and tomorrow, another announcement. Tomorrow we'll have the Mr. Sergey Simonov, is the company's director, participating as the guest speaker at another webinar for India at evening at 8:30 p.m. Indian time. So you can also repeat your question. We'll see whether the management has some other reply or not. But according to my understanding, right now the numbers of shares is confidential information, so we cannot distribute it at this point. So let's go to the next step. What does investor get? Actually, each investor gets the investment certificate, share certificate, and investment agreement. Please, whenever you make investment, whenever you put your money in any project, in any asset, read attentively the documents that goes within this, together with this deal. In this case, it's investment agreement. So go carefully. It's in English and in Russian. In English, you can all be acquainted with this agreement. Go step by step to get to know all your rules, all your obligations, all your rights, I mean obligations according to this contract, all of the clauses of this contract, and of course share certificate either in electronic format or in paper format. You can download it and it will have the same validity as if you actually order it online. Sorry, order it to be sent to your home or office location in your country. You can do that as well, but at a cost, because of course the investor's money will not go to send you any documentation. So we're not making any margin on that sending of the documents, we still transfer all the costs of sending to the customers, actually to the partners. So the partner will only pay the postage fees needed for the share certificate to be delivered to you, but it's not necessary. So just electronic form will do the same, will have the same validity. So you just can download the PDF document with the share certificate in your back office at solargroup.pro, of course. And in the future stage, after the completed financing of the project, as I've mentioned, the SOVELMASH company will be transformed from limited liability company to joint stock company, according to Russian legislation, to open joint stock company. And then this open joint stock company will have shares distributed. Half of the shares will be distributed among all the solar group investors. Of course, all the investors who bought the Solar Group shares will have their own share in this new SOVELMASH enterprise. And then you will be also covered by Russian legislation regarding the investors, regarding the joint stock companies. So not only by this investment agreement that is presented, that is actually right now you have with Solar Group company, but in the future you'll be also secured by the Russian law and as investor in the Russian joint stock company. Project group of companies include Solar Group as a financial company, as a venture investment fund, organizer of attracting investments to the SOVELMASH company. Of course, SOVELMASH is the main company developing electric motors using Slavyanka technology, is the Russian legal entity. And the second Russian company is ASNPP, the author and holder of the combined winding technology Slavyanka, is also a research and production enterprise of technology development type. Hope it's also clear. Also, we need to understand that in both companies, in SOVELMASH and SPP, also Mr. Dmitry Duyunov himself is either one of the management person or the shareholder. For example, in SPP company, according to my understanding, he is the shareholder, and in SOVELMASH company, he is employee or part of the management. Here you can see the pie of the SOVELMASH capital. You can distribute it as you see, the crowd investing company or collective investor, in this case, it's Solar Group company. Solar Group Limited is offshore company, holds 49.5% in SOVELMASH. Management of SOVELMASH holds 10.5%, and ASNPP, it's a Russian company, holds 40%. As they also, as we've covered, it's the author and the holder of the patents developed for this technology. So this is what makes 100% of capital of SOVELMASH company. And in the future, as soon as SOVELMASH will become a joint stock company, it will also have the same distribution of capital. So 49.5% will go to all the shareholders of Solar Group. So if you have the, I don't know, 100,000 shares in Solar Group right now, we'll need to see someone ask in chat, Mr. Manish, I think, asked in chat how much shares, Mr. Dinesh Murugan, sorry, asked in chat how many shares we have to date. So once we will know this information, you can divide number of shares which you have to the number of shares issued in total, and you will have your own share in this future SOVELMASH company. You can easily calculate it, but we can make it. Right now, we can only just wait till the announcement, and this information hopefully will be available to all the partners, all the investors of Solar Group at a later stage in order to have this calculation. What will SOVELMASH will make profit from? As I've mentioned, just one such contract to develop the electric motor can be on average up to $50 million. So it's planned that the customer will approach the SOVELMASH and ask the team of SOVELMASH to develop to have the motor developed for this company, for this industry, and this customer will receive at the end of this process all the documentation and maybe some training in their own factory. I mean, in the factory of customer, how to produce it, how to implement this technology, to implement this electric motor in real conditions, in prototype conditions, or in real conditions of the factory, of the production site. This is regarding the main activity which SOVELMASH plans to undertake in the future. It's exactly the design and development of electric motors for various industries. As I've mentioned, on average, the market price of one completed order for electric motor design can be $50 million. So just if you can imagine the company has dozens of such customers, then the company will already, how much can be the turnover of the company. Actually, right now it's planned that on annual basis, the company will have from 3 to 5 such contracts. So you can just roughly estimate the turnover of company in the future. As you can read here, it's mentioned that from 1 to 10 motors per year depending on the complexity of requirements obtained from the customer, the company can develop. So after this development, so it means that the company on annual basis can earn up to, could be up to even $500 million, depending on the requirements, depending on the conditions. So you can just imagine the turnover and the potential growth at potential financial indicators of the company, SOVELMASH. Talking about capitalization of the market, of the share price in the market, it can be, you all know about the examples of Microsoft, of Google, Apple, and other such huge companies, IT, and not only IT. We can take other examples, Tesla of Elon Musk, or Uber company that started out, some of them started out as crowdfunding companies too. And whoever believed in them, whoever believed in technology on internet, or that will have one of these in every homes. Some of people have several smartphones nowadays. And whoever believed in the technology first, who was the first investors, they really benefited the most. Because why? Because once the company undertook the IPO process, its market price of these shares grew significantly, even 10,000 times or even more. As you can see, Alibaba shares grew more than 3 million times in just 20 years. So we don't know where SOVELMASH will arrive in 5 or 10 years or 20 years time. Nobody knows right now, otherwise we'll all be billionaires by now. But the potential is huge, I think. So you can double check all the perspectives. You can consider it to be a great potential benefit for you, for your financial future, in the financial freedom in the future. So as we've seen from the past history, that these are the innovative companies that really bring the breakthrough technologies into the market. And whoever didn't have fear, didn't have the fear to become a white crow or stand out of the market, of the crowd, that company really has become a success. Of course, there were some failures, but most of the companies who were the first in this or that market, who really reaped the benefits of becoming the first in the market, who to gain the most of the market share, really gained a lot of momentum and a lot of benefits. About the project in the future, we already more than 200,000 participants from more than 100 countries in the world. We are presented on all continents. Right now, the back office, as you might have seen, is already been translated into 20 languages. We have 9 official representations in various countries in the world. We have representation in India, in Thailand, Vietnam, in Germany, Bulgaria, Croatia, and other countries, Hungary. And over $15 million have been already attracted in crowd investments by Solar Group company. So you can imagine what lies ahead is really will bring us even more perspectives and advantages. What has already been implemented to date by the SOVELMASH company, by the development team, or by Dmitriy Duyunov and his team, it's this laboratory, which has already been equipped with the latest, with the top-notch equipment. This laboratory has already been attested by the government authorities of the Moscow area. It means that with this certificate, all the motors that are tested out and distributed or developed by SOVELMASH company have official stamp of approval by the government. It means either in Russia or also abroad, these motors will not need to be tested a second time. They are precise because the methods of testing used here will be valid for any other laboratories, for any other producers. Here on the right side, you can see the copy of this certificate gained by this laboratory. It means that it will be accepted, basically the production, the products will be accepted around the globe with this certificate. This is a really great result. The SOVELMASH is right now, as I mentioned, a resident of the free economic area Technopolis, Moscow. It's called in a city called Zelenograd, in the zone called Technopolis, Moscow. Some of the bloggers have really expressed doubts before this event, before 2019, that SOVELMASH, it's really hard to become a resident and so on and so on. but still the SOVELMASH proved that it has that it could become and has become successfully the resident of the free economic area Technopolis Moscow. It has signed agreement to be resident. It has signed a land lease agreement with the authorities. And another great benefit for SOVELMASH company is the following, that once the project will be completed, will have been completed, and the construction of engineering center will have been completed, the company SOVELMASH can buy out with just 1% of the market of the cadastre value of the land. It can buy out the land itself and can put on its balance sheet as asset. And land in the Moscow area, you can imagine just the market value of this asset. So the appreciation of the capital of the company will also be great because of the price of land. It's quite high as well. Together with this benefit, being a resident means that the SOVELMASH company also accesses the advantages in terms of taxation, in terms of best employees in that area, and also logistics, and also some importation benefits comparing to all normal companies registered in Russia. This is just a photo of the land plot of 2.1 hectares. And there will be some less trees there, and some more construction going on in the next weeks and months. And we'll waiting with anticipation on the next official announcements from SOVELMASH team about the construction. As we've discussed on 15th of July, the first construction work has already been started, and we plan the construction to be over in 22 months. So it means in roughly 2 years, by 2022. We will see what will it take in terms of time, in terms of resources, in terms of currency fluctuations. So let's keep updated. Let's be updated by SOVELMASH team and by Dmitriy Duyunov himself, who holds every Thursday he holds the official Expert Time program available on YouTube. And if you access it, you can even get subtitles in Russian, and you can automatically translate the subtitles in English or other languages. So you can easily actually follow whatever SOVELMASH company is announcing. You can double check it for yourself, all this information which I'm saying right now, and just don't trust me as a face value, but just do your own research. There are many instruments for that. There is a back office. You can read reviews. You can see videos of SOVELMASH company, of our dealers on YouTube. You can ask your national representative where you can find more information, and you can ask, just Google about any other information of the company and double check this information. So just use as many resources, as many sources of information as possible. Also, SOVELMASH has undergone the audit examination, and we've got the audit examination report that we have successfully completed, and it means that accounting of the company is all in order, in full compliance with the Russian law, because the SOVELMASH company has already shared the 2019 audit report. So it means for the year ended 31st December of 2019, the audit has been successfully completed and passed by independent auditor company. Some of the latest developments that we have obtained some new patents that increase the value of intellectual property of SOVELMASH company, as well as we have been working on the development of the new controller in-house. So it means we don't need to pay anything to third parties to develop electric controller for our electric motors, but we develop it ourselves, exactly for combined winding electric motors. And other developments that we are in constant negotiations, in constant contact with the Weihe administration, with our partners in China, with ASPP company in China. Also, there have been important bonuses, let's say, and advantages of being in partnership with that company, because of course we can benefit from the lower cost of labor, the lower production cost, while having production in China right now, because all over the world, of course, most of the products, to save the cost, it's produced in China, but it's not to say that you cannot organize the same production domestically in your own countries. Of course, we can do that. And if you have your own business plan, we've had Mr. Fyodor Konstantinov on one of our webinars 1 week ago. He exactly was describing that in any case, if you have a prominent business idea, if you have a blueprint for the development of your own engineering center or your own production site or your own next breakthrough technology, you can actually send it to the company. I mean, your business plan, your economic calculations, whatever you have on this topic, you can send at email project@solargroup.team. It's project@solargroup.team, and this project will be evaluated, and you will receive the feedback within 1 week after we receive your documentation, and maybe we'll ask you to provide some more information, some more in-depth information about your project. And then after evaluation of your project, the company can take decision to finance it or not to finance it. In any case, you will benefit from the experience, because in the same way you approach Solar Group, you can later, or you can in parallel approach many other venture funds or venture capital firms as well. Talking about risk of the project under financing, as Dmitry Duyunov has already mentioned at one of his programs, one of his broadcasts, that actually we already amassed some equipment. We will already have in preparation of the construction, we already purchased some equipment, some production equipment and development equipment for the engineering center. So if let's say some force majeure happens, or I don't know, some situation occurs when the investors will pause or will significantly decrease their capacity to invest into the project, still the company can be funded with approaching to banks or approaching to other means of financing in the meantime. So we even have the plan B and so on in order to successfully continue with the completion of the project. And there has been a major investor with additional fund if needed. The agreement has already been signed that if the amount will not be attracted by means of crowd investing, there has been already negotiations with this other partner, other company, that all the required amount will be financed from the other sources. So just for investors to understand that already such plans are in place. Preliminary, we already collaborate and negotiate with other companies in order to see the potential development of the markets and the customers. And the sales department will not need to call potential customers after the start of the engineering center. Why? Because they already have preliminary draft agreements with maybe a dozen or 10 or dozen of potential customers who are ready to launch their order as soon as the company will go live, will go fully, will be ready to develop the new induction motors for its customers. So as we mentioned, anybody can become investor. This is the unique opportunity because it has lower barrier of entry. It has just barrier of $50 to entry to become investor, to pay for the first portion of your investment package in this company, in Solar Group with the Duyunov's Motors project, because each country has their own, I don't know, you can comment also in chat, whatever the rules and regulation your country has. For example, in Russia, there is such a norm or such a rule that you need to become a qualified investor before you can trade any stock exchange security, or if you want to have a significant investment into the stock exchange or in securities instruments, you need to become first qualified investor. You need to invest maybe 6 million rubles first, or have assets of the same value, then you'll be admitted. So there's a lengthy process. So there's a process in place. So only particular type of customers, particular type of persons, let's call it wealthy individuals, let's call it qualified investors, or some people with background in investing, background in securities trading before, they can become the qualified investor in Russia. And also in Europe, it's similar rules. Here in this project, it's a unique opportunity because you don't have this barrier of becoming a qualified investor first in order to be in line with the legislation of any particular country. Here we overcome this barrier with registration of the company, not in Russia, not in Europe, but in other jurisdiction, which is exempt from these conditions, exempt from this limitation and these requirements. Also, you can become investor from any part of the world. Of course, you can. It's enough to have internet, to have access to internet, and to be able to pay with either cryptocurrency or with your bank card or with your bank account. You can participate, and you can see in back office many different payment methods in order to pay for your package. In order to, and also in every situation, national partner will help you in any case how to pay, how to choose a package. How to participate from the partnership program, because there's also affiliation program in place. So even if you don't buy a package, even if you don't become an investor in the company, you will still can benefit from the becoming the partner of the company and benefit from the attracting the investment in the company and have bonus from that. The project is quite transparent, I would say. It has constantly hosting the special guest, the company's management, company's head of advertising, head of marketing, company's director will be tomorrow at a webinar for Indian participants tomorrow evening. I remind you again, Mr. Sergey Simonov. Also, the company holds the live meetings and events. At least it has held it last year in New Delhi in November, in Russia, in Moscow, in September, in some other countries, and even this year with our great partner, national partner from France, Mr. Gilles Weber. He has already held conferences and live meetings this year in Cote d'Ivoire, in Togo, in Benin, and he has successfully developed, and even in this pandemic situation, he successfully has held live meetings with partners in many countries in Africa. This also opportunity to increase the purchase investment package by installment plan. As I mentioned, you can buy it with 10 months period, over 10 months period, or 15 or 20 months period, depending on your choice actually. So as I've mentioned, this is a great opportunity to be considered, and to, of course, the decision is up to you. You can double check all this information. You can see the back office. You can register and see for yourself how it works. This company has implemented the Know Your Client policy. It means that as any bank, as any financial institution which will ask you the document to prove your identity, to prove your address, is the same here. So it means the company really takes seriously the rights of each investor. It has anti-fraud procedures. It has the anti-double registration procedures in place. So there will be no double registration. There will be just one partner, one investor with one active account in the program, in the system. And it means that the investors are safeguarded in such a way that in the future will not have problems that there will be bonuses just generated or withdrawn from the company via some not admitted schemes. So this is again another tools that the company has put in place to safeguard investors, to safeguard partners, and to benefit all the partners in the project and the company itself, and also to help SOLARMASH company develop successfully and into the future to become really a leader in this market, to complete this engineering center construction, hopefully by 2022, and implement to become a joint stock company. So all investors will be happy and can share this information and can share the success of this company also and use them in other projects as well in the future. So the decision is up to you. As I mentioned, you can invest today. You can make this decision. It will be your decision. The risks you can weigh according to all information presented on the website. Of course, any investment is a risk. We cannot say that there is no risk. Of course, the risk is always there. Even if you have assets, if you have a currency or bank account, still there is a risk that the bank will close. If you have some physical asset, there is still a risk associated with some force majeure, with the value devaluation in the future. Of course, it's always there. but in investment, at least you have something that is confirmed by documents that you will have a piece of activity generating profit, potentially generating profit in the future. And the more it goes forward, the risk will decrease and the revenue generation possibility will increase and will only become higher and higher value, in my opinion. Again, everything what I've mentioned is my opinion. You can make up your own mind. So just double check all the information, double check your resources. It's very important because not to just trust one source, but go to different sources. Ask your superior sponsors, ask your colleagues, ask your friends, and get more advice. Be more financially knowledgeable. It's very important nowadays because there are many projects that just show a nice website. They give you nice information, nice video prepared by maybe great specialists, great designers and market people. But what's behind that project, you don't know. So here at least you meet the people that are behind the project. You see the information that is presented on the website. You have double checks. You have videos from the company that construction is being started. You have regular meetings or online meetings with Mr. Dmitriy Duyunov himself. In September, we'll hold also the 2 webinars with Mr. Lu Tao, who is a general manager of the company called Energy Glory, which is a Chinese company which collaborates right now with our Chinese partner, Mr. Victor Aristo, and his company, ASPP Weihai. And second guest will be Mr. Alexei Gulyans, who is director of Denzel Bike Company. It's another company based in China, and Mr. Alexei is a man who really introduced the Slavyanka technology in the bikes he's using himself. So you can even see on YouTube, you can access to this information and ask your national representative to send you some proofs, some materials of these both speakers and the description. And soon this information will be available via the back office about both of these webinars, both of these speakers, which will share their own views of this company, of the development of the Slavyanka, of the winding technology Slavyanka. And whatever questions you have, you can ask right now. Let me just see what information we have in chat. And I want to thank you for participation and for your kind attention. Okay, Mr. Dinesh Murugan is asking, can you send license to sell shares? I don't exactly understand your question, Mr. Dinesh. Maybe you can elaborate on that. Or let me just open up the microphone so you can thank you for your comments. Okay. Yeah, I opened up microphone. Also, I welcome Mr. Birdiv, who I see here in this webinar. Mr. Deshrajji, hello. And also Mr. Anand Roy, who I've seen here, and Mr. Rajesh Kumar. And all partners from India who are participating also in our webinar. It's very pleasant to see you all here. G. Deshrajji. Yes, hello, Mr. Deshrajji. Okay, another question, let me see. Mr. Dinesh is asking, company had any certificate to sell IPO? I don't exactly understand the question. I think it means whether when the company will go into IPO process. The plan is to have the first to complete the construction of our engineering center. It's planned for 2022. So it means subsequently in 2-3 years time, we can plan to go into IPO process. So it means by 2024-25, the company can analyze the market situation and make a decision to go into this way. But we don't need to the IPO by force. Let's say 100% is not it's not required. It will be great to have, but it's not required. Why? Because we already have this crowd investing. It means we will already have obtained all the investments needed to start up the project, to start up the engineering center. And of course, whenever the market situation will be good, we can undergo also this IPO process to attract more capital or to have the share price appreciation. So thank you, Dinesh, Mr. Dinesh, for interesting questions. Also, Mr. Valery Gomo is asking, Valery Gomo, right? Hello, is it possible to delete all the inactive accounts in the structure? The accounts that are not activated. I think it's a great question. You can ask exactly the support team, because it's more related to technical issue. So all the inactive accounts, I think it's not a problem to have them there, as long as it's not double accounts. It means that the person, for example, Ivan Ivanov or me, I'm Dmitry, I cannot register for second, third time. Otherwise, it will break the rules of the company, and it's not admitted. Otherwise, it's no problem to have the inactive accounts, as soon as these accounts don't have investment packages. Okay. If you have any other questions, let me open the possibility to ask questions. If you open your microphone, you can ask any question as well. Hello, Mr. Anand Roy as well, our webinar. Hello. I remind you that in September, we'll have the 2 webinars from Mr. Lu Tao, who is director of company from China, Energy Glory, and Mr. Alexei Gulyans, who is a director of company Denzel brand, who is the second company in China. They are both partner of Mr. Viktor Aristov and the company ASPP. Yes, Anand Roy, hello.
Hi. Thank you for Mr. Dmitry giving a knowledgeable presentation.
Thank you very much.
And you tell about BLDC hub motors is a grateful knowledge, and we know what is the benefits without magnet motors.
Yes, exactly. Actually, it's a great question. Thank you, Mr. Anandroy. We have Mr. Dmitry Duyunov developed this combined winding technology with the motors, which they don't use permanent magnets. Why? Because it has several benefits. First benefit is that we don't need to buy these permanent magnets to make these motors with permanent magnets. So the cost is less. Then the second advantage is that while not using these permanent magnets, the motor, it uses actually electric field, electromagnetic field generated by the wiring itself. So you have the copper and you have the electric steel inside the motor. So by law of physics, you don't need to have also these permanent magnets. It has already, all the BLDC motor, they use permanent magnets, but it has like a push from the market, push from the, maybe whoever first started this technology, using this technology, that also you need to use this third component, which is permanent magnets. But in our case, without permanent magnets, we really managed to obtain the higher power output and the higher technical characteristics of these motors. So really, I think the better is to ask Mr. Dmitry Duyunov, because I'm not an engineer, to explain more in details. But by using the combination of the two, of the star and delta technology winding, we have still electromagnetic field, which really generates the power needed to, for the bike to go, for the car to run, and so on and so on, even without using these permanent magnets. So we don't need to buy them, and the motor is lighter without them, and is more powerful, more performing better. So this is just, I don't know if I answered your question.
Thank you.
Also in chat, we have another question from Mr. Harish. Is the company licensed by regulatory authorities to sell to public? It's a great question, Mr. Harish. Actually, the Solar Group, I will speak about both companies. Thank you for your question. First company, Solar Group Limited. And the answer is yes. So Solar Group Limited has a license from the financial authority called Financial Services Commission from Vanuatu to have the activity connected with securities to attract investments. So it's fully licensed. Second company, SOVELMASH is right now, it's limited liability company registered according to Russian legislation. So it's not yet trading any securities. It just has half of its capital participation from Solar Group company. But in the future, once it will become the joint stock company, it will also have the shares. It will be regulated by Bank of Russia, by the financial authorities, Russian financial authorities. It's Bank of Russia with some kind of department from Minister of Finance, I think, who is supervising such companies, supervising such issue of new security, of new shares. In Russia, in Russian Federation, there is a Bank of Russia, which is a central bank, which is taking care of issuing the permits for joint stock companies in order to issue their shares. So in the future, yes, it will also have the license. For right now, all the partners buying the Solar Group shares. So I just disconnected. Okay, I repeat again for Mr. Harish that yes, the answer is yes, and you can also see this transmission later at YouTube if you missed this part. Solar Group company is a company registered outside of Russia. It's authorized by Financial Commission of Vanuatu to have this activity in terms of investment activity, in terms of attracting investments from partners. So it's already authorized. Hope it's clear. Another question from Mr. Naresh Yadav is when can we expect internal exchange and how much percentage of our portfolio can we transfer in company buyback or P2P transfer? Yeah, great question. Thank you, Mr. Naresh. As in each webinar, we have similar questions about internal exchange. We expect them to be launched soon, of course. Right now, we don't have any confirmation from company's side as to when it will happen. We expect it actually closer to stage number 20, because then the company will understand exactly how much shares of Solar Group have been issued, have been sold, have been realized to all the partners. So we can calculate, for example, some billion shares or some exact number. And then the company can open up the internal exchange. So the price will be more or less fixed by the bids and asks from the partner, from the investors. And the price can be regulated by this internal exchange market or P2P, as you mentioned. So I can sell to Mr. Anand Roy or vice versa. Mr. Deshraj can sell to you his shares or to other partners. And second option, the company can say, okay, maybe some percentage we can buy out ourselves. Of course, the company will not buy out all the shares, but at least it can open up this opportunity to buy at least some part of the shares themselves. I mean, the company itself can buy the part of the shares sold already to investor. I hope I explained regarding also this question. Mr. Harish has another question. How much in the total amount of the company wants to raise? How much equity and how much have raised so far? Can you help? Can you give a breakup of shareholding owners and public? What is the current valuation of the company? Great questions. Let me open up the slide with ownership of the company. I think Mr. Harish did not participate in the middle of presentation. Still, let me go back a little bit. I will open presentation again. Okay. So this is the slide with shareholding structure of SOLARGROUP. SOLARGROUP is a Russian registered company. Okay. Out of 100% of the SOVELMASH capital, 49.5% is owned by Solar Group company. It means that another 40% is owned by company ASMPP from Russia, as you can see here on the slide, and another 10.5% is owned by management of the SOVELMASH company. So let's speak more precisely about this 49.5%. This 49.5% means that Solar Group company, which is a foreign company, owns 49.5% of Russian company SOVELMASH. Again, it means that almost half of the company of the Russian company SOVELMASH is owned by this Solar Group company. Solar Group company, in this case, you can imagine it as a collective investor, because in Solar Group here in this it includes all of us, all of the investors who have the investment shares are inside this 49.5%. So as soon as we know exactly how much shares the company sold, the Solar Group company sold, then you'll be able to calculate what is exactly your share in the whole company, in the SOVELMASH company in the future. Okay. Right now we don't know the appreciation of the company in terms of its assets. It's a good question. We can refer it to the management. At least I don't know the figure right now. As far as your question, how much have been already raised? Actually, let me calculate in terms of dollars. Last year on September conference in Moscow, it was already announced that the amount of 1 billion rubles have been raised, and the ruble is approximate ruble to dollar exchange. It's 74, around 70 rubles for $1. So you can just divide 1 billion to 70, and you will see the amount in dollars. So this is the amount have been raised, and also Mr. Dmitriy Duyunov shared information publicly that around 200 million rubles have been already used to buy the equipment, to prepare the land, to prepare all the engineering center internal works, and let's say to equip all the future engineering center. Just to give you an idea of financial activity of the company. So far, I don't know. Okay, another question from Mr. Harish. So far, you don't know how many shares the Solar Group holds versus the shares held by the public. Where can I see the last audited account reports? Yes, we don't know how many shares is held by. What do you mean the public? All the shares of Solar Group is actually held by its investors. So Solar Group doesn't hold its own shares. Okay. So Solar Group company, they distribute their shares that they issued. So whenever they issued the shares, there must be some investor who bought actually the shares. So whatever the number of shares they have issued, they have realized, they have sold through a back office. It means that there's already investor owning these shares. So Solar Group company doesn't own any shares. In the future, it can buy back some of the shares back from the investors, but right now they only sold to investors. Okay. Regarding the last audited account report, it's a good question. We can refer it to SOVELMASH company, actually to Solar Group management. Tomorrow we'll hold the webinar with Mr. Sergey Semyonov, who is director of Solar Group company. So please join also tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Indian time. Otherwise, refer a question to national partner, also Mr. Birdi. He can refer it to the company and can give you the more precise reply to this. But it's a good question. Okay, another comment. But you should know how many shares you're offering, how many sold so far, and how many to public. Actually, all the shares distributed, I repeat again, it's all the shares which have been distributed are distributed among investors, as you mentioned, public. Okay, and the information is not yet public about the exact number of shares sold, which is another good question, which can be referred again to Solar Group management, to Solar Group director. Again, Mr. Sergey Semyonov, he will participate in webinar tomorrow. but right now we don't have this information. Okay. Mr. Birdi, if you want to add anything. Okay.
Ciao Dima, grazie per tutte le informazioni che hai dato. Mi senti? Ok, grazie per io voglio dividere domani, come abbiamo mezz'ora prima, Mr. Sergei Seminov, poi abbiamo John William che presenterà la sua attività che sta facendo con la nostra tecnologia. Volevo dividere questo con tutti, spero che saranno presenti tutti domani. Grazie.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Birdi. Again, tomorrow we'll hold the webinar with Mr. Sergei Semenov, the company's director, with all the questions you have. You may also refer to him. As Mr. Harisha adds another comment, to give a breakdown of total number of shares company is offering and how many is sold so far, how many balance. There's a technical question or financial question. I can refer to the director of company. There is no breakdown available publicly in terms of how many shares have been already sold, because we have different types of shares and different stages, sold in different stages, so we cannot make an estimate right now. Maybe the management of the company, of course, have this information, how many exactly shares have been sold, but right now I don't have a reply for you, unfortunately. Okay, if you have any other questions regarding the project. And about the white paper is available. It has been already outdated, but it's still available in the back office in the area for partner, and you can click the, I can even share where you can find it. Wait a second. You can click area for partner, then you click white paper and you can download this document. Otherwise, you can ask in chat and we'll send you the information via the chat. I hope you're already in chat for partners in India, if I'm not mistaken. And then you click area for partners in back office and you click materials for work, and there is white paper there with some information. At least there is some information in English. Mr. Naresh Yadav is asking about the offices in India. Actually, due to a lockdown and some offices were closed, so we are waiting for the final registration procedure to be completed, hopefully in the next 2 weeks. And Mr. Birdi is taking participation in this process, and hopefully by the end of the year or basically in the next weeks, we will have the update and announcement about that, regarding that. It's already in the process. So I thank you again for your participation. Thank you for interesting question, Mr. Harish. You can refer your questions also to Mr. Sergei Semenov, who will be our guest tomorrow. Otherwise, I will copy your questions and I will refer them to the management of the company, and we can get a reply hopefully in the next days. Otherwise, the only thing the company can say that it's confidential information and that we cannot unfortunately share it, but let's see what the reply will be, because I'm not representing the management at this moment. I can only refer your questions and then we'll see what the answer will be. Okay, if anybody has the questions, not relating the number of shares sold publicly, because we don't know exactly the quantity right now. Otherwise, I thank you all for participation. Keep healthy, and Thank you. Dhanyavad, Sabiko. Thank you all for participation.
Thank you very much, Dmitry, and all partners.
Thank you,
Paka,
Mithana,
paka.
and all partners. Bye-bye.
Bye.